that time, used to come on campus quite often, and bring photos. He was a freelance photographer with Kamehameha in those days, and Colonel Ken hired him to take different shots of the school, the campus, activities, Michigan State functions, whatever was going on. And so he was here quite often, and I saw him coming and going in the office with his little portfolio, and I thought, gee, and he had a nice car. He had a 98 Oldsmobile, and I thought, he is somebody I'd like to work for. So I approached him one day and I said, can I tag along with you? You're the photographer, I want to learn. He looked at me and you better check with Luryier, with the purchasing agent. So I asked Mr. Luryier, do you mind if I quit? I hate this job. He said, you want to work for Pop? Well, he wasn't Pop then. You want to work for Mr. Diamond? I said, yes. And so I began there in October of '52. I'll never forget the first day I worked for him. And I sized him up. Pop was a dapper dresser, let me tell you. Sharp slacks, pointed toe shoes, dress shirts, embroidered cufflinks, name on his shirt, sharp ties. He was classed all the way in New York City, Manhattan. I didn't know it then, but he already had a student understudy. His name was Ernie Hoa. He was the class of '54, he was a year ahead of me. And Ernie was really the first student photographer on the Hill at Kamehameha. Colonel Ken would offer hiring to take pictures, and then obviously Pop became hired at Kamehameha. And his first job was coordinator of activities at Kamehameha. I remember Ernie and I, we always talked like, why didn't you just bring him as a photographer? Because that's all he did. But he had a lot of connections with the newspapers. And so he was originally signed on as coordinator of activities and later became the school official photographer. At Kamehameha School for Boys, and that's what we were then, we were KSB and KSG, we had nicknames for everybody and every teacher. For instance, Mr. Mountain, our old football coach, was Brother Mountain. Mrs. Oberlander, our biology teacher, was Obi Baby. Sadly, Reverend Mulholland was Reverend Montague. I think we all remember that. But even Pop wasn't spared the moniker tag. You know, he wasn't always Pop. He was not always Pop. From Mr. Diamond, some of the boys started calling him Diamond Baby, then Diamond in the Rough, then Babaloo from Lucy and Desi's TV show Babaloo, to, of course, Brother Lou, which, as we all know, when somebody up here calls you brother, it means like your family, which he liked that. Pop took Ernie and I everywhere, even paid for our trips to the outer islands. One trip to Hilo in '53, we stayed at Charlie Bell's house. Two daughters, Leigh Bell, class of '56, and Jewel, had a great time. Gave us a personal tour of the island. I had never been. Ernie had never seen that part of Hawaii. He was from just outside of Hilo. The whole tour, every day, 3 days, we covered the whole island. Three of us were inseparable. I mean, just literally inseparable. I always tell people, with Ernie from Wainaco, me from Damon Track, and Pop from the Big Apple, we couldn't miss. We just couldn't miss. But it was Ernie and I who began calling him Pop in our daily meetings and our get-togethers, because, in effect, he was our Pop. When the other kids heard us, they started calling him Pop, and when I graduated in '55, he was Pop Diamond to everyone. But it wasn't just his distinctive attire or his professional manner. It was his camera that was his magic wand, as you saw. Not the kind of cameras that we know, the point and shoot. The digital quickies, the quick pics, especially the new cell phones. No. Ours was the old Graflex 7-pound with the 2-pound flash bulb attachment, the big bag of batteries and plates. And we loved these everywhere. He loved them everywhere. And when Ernie and I were with him, we loved them. But not only did we get to carry the equipment, we got to learn and share everything he knew. And he held nothing back. He entrusted us with expensive equipment. Even let us drive his cars. I told Bobby. In fact, Bobby thought the car was ours. I mean, we were all over this campus with his car, taking pictures. But we had a wonderful time, and we fell in love with this man, and he fell in love with us. And till today, we're known as his #1 and #2 sons. You'll see it in some of the books. You saw it up there with Ernie. Pop fell in love with Ernie. When he graduated in '52, Pop flew him to New York, to Rochester Institute of Technology, and personally enrolled him. And Ernie and I could never have known that we were going to be the first of many sons that were to follow his more than 50 years of continuous service here at Kamehameha. What we did know was we inherited the greatest gift he could have ever given, his time and his love.